Well, 146 years ago today, General George Armstrong Custer met his fate at the Battle of Little Bighorn. News 19's Sam Dunham tells us the story of the lacrosse man who followed the infamous general until the very end.
Tucked away in La Crosse's Oak Grove Cemetery, one may find a plaque commemorating Mark H. Kellogg. Kellogg was born in Ontario, Canada, before coming to La Crosse with his family in 1851. During his time here, Mark was a telegraph operator at the Wisconsin Telegraph Company, previously located at the northwest corner of Front and Main Street. Kellogg worked there for several years before becoming a journalist for the New York Herald and Bismarck Tribune. Elsewhere, a battle was brewing for ownership of the American West with George Armstrong Custer.
To deal with those who refused to go onto the reservations, who refused to capitulate in that way, a massive military campaign was started in 1876. And Custer was just a small part of that larger campaign to subdue the Northern Plains tribes who were resisting.
Kellogg and Custer left Fort Abraham Lincoln on May 17th. Kellogg prepared to tell the tale of George Armstrong Custer.
Very egotistical. He thought very highly of himself. He thought of himself a military genius and probably a political genius. He wanted to have a big victory in the West that he could use to his advantage politically. Mark Kellogg was there essentially as a kind of a PR person, right? He was there to send back all these stories about Custer.
As Custer's men moved west, it became clear a confrontation with Native Americans was inevitable. In a final dispatch to his employer, Kellogg wrote, "I go with Custer, and I will be at the death." The ensuing battle made Custer's name infamous.
He essentially disobeyed orders during the campaign, went well ahead of the rest of the army, and wanted to defeat the Northern Plains tribes on his own.
Custer's battle group, consisting of over 200 men, faced off against hundreds of Lakota and Cheyenne warriors. Outnumbered and cornered, Custer's forces fought to the last man. Among the fallen, Mark Kellogg.
The Battle of Little Bighorn is essentially the end of major conflict between the United States and Native Americans.
And a first for modern American journalism. The Associated Press recalls Kellogg as being the first AP-affiliated journalist to die in battle. While Kellogg's body remains hundreds of miles away, a symbol of his life in La Crosse rests tucked away in the Oak Grove Cemetery. In La Crosse, Sam Dunham, News 19.
The plaque in Oak Grove Cemetery describes Mark Kellogg as La Crosse's first press telegrapher, an editor for the La Crosse Democrat, a fireman, a store partner, and a parent.